I am making good on my plan here at the Phenomenal Future Project, the Phenomenal Future Podcast, to stream live 365 days in a row. This is day 5. It's late at night here. It's about 10:19 p.m., but it's still day 5. It hasn't rolled over into day 6, and so I'm making good on that promise to myself, and also a promise to whoever might be watching this at any point in the future. I'm really trying to get good at being able to share all kinds of amazing stuff around blockchain, NFTs, smart contracts for artists, and there are also some useful cases that we're going to be covering for luxury brands as well. But like I said yesterday, consistency is very important at getting good, but also at building trust with audience members. I'm going to be talking a lot about exactly that, building an audience for artists, and not just using online marketing techniques, which we'll cover, but also how the new technologies in Web3 can really open up a whole new way of connecting with fans and maintaining those relationships for the long haul. Today, I'm going to talk very briefly about an interesting topic that I don't necessarily have the answer for. I'm not the expert here. I'm an adventurer along this journey with you all. And today, I want to talk about the difference or trying to make a balance between following your passions, so creating a career and a livelihood out of following the things that you're most passionate about, versus being pragmatic and making choices that make sense, that are tried and true, or that have a lot of upside. So, often we're told to follow our passions because that's where we're going to be able to stay consistent with what we're doing and get better and better and better. Now, I have been an artist in a variety of capacities over the years. I started initially in music, playing in bands and composing and singing. And I found that I was always running into roadblocks. I was self-sabotaging a lot. So I would get into a band and we'd work on songs and all that kind of stuff. And then, my tendency to want everything to be perfect and to control the situation probably was a bit overbearing and got me into trouble with bandmates. Now, that's not the only reason that things may have imploded, but I know it was a contributor looking back. And that tendency to hold on to the reins too tight and control the outcome is kind of antithetical to creativity. So in that sense, my passion for making a career out of music got the better of me, and I definitely had my own psychological issues where my whole self-worth was wrapped up into what I was perceiving as the quality of the work. And so I was all about practice, and work on songs, and that whole process of do it again. Now, that served me well in some ways, but it did definitely put a cramp on, we certainly didn't do as many gigs as I could have, right? And the proof is in the pudding. When you get in front of an audience, that tells you whether you're doing a good job or not. So I was in an echo chamber a lot, judging my own work, judging the work of the band, and also, band members had different ideas of the style of music that we wanted to play and all that kind of stuff. So I look at that and all of that angst and self-worth issues and self-doubt were really difficult to deal with, and thus get any kind of momentum. As soon as things started to go well, things seemed to fall apart. Was that my own doing? I think in large part it was. So that's one area where I followed a passion for creativity and yet couldn't get out of my own way. I translated that a little bit later. I wanted to get better on stage, and so I took the acting classes, and I ended up getting better at certainly being on stage. But I got caught the acting bug, and I went down that route, and I did a fair amount of acting in independent films, and then I even went into screenwriting, and I worked behind the scenes as well, editing, and directed a few things, and wrote, like I said, screenplays and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, the music that I was writing, especially the lyrical aspect and the melody, a lot of that got translated into filmmaking. And, there's a definite rhythm that comes with that, and give and take, certainly just like you do with musicians, doing that with the other actors. And there was less of my self-worth wrapped up in all of that stuff. And so I think I got a little bit farther along with that. But I also realized that both music and movie making, there are so many people that want to do this, so few people that succeed, right? And so the risk reward was so massive that either you've got zero or you're doing really well. But there's very little in between. There's no middle class, really, when it comes to those two. You're either a starving artist or you manage to have a really nice, solid career. I think there's, in acting, for all of the people that are in the Screen Actors Guild, it's like the top 5% are actually making a living and the rest of them are not. Maybe it's even less than that. So you get the idea. So that's kind of an example of wanting to be creative and following some sort of a passion around something that there aren't going to be 100 million people out there that are going to have a career in this worldwide. So I switched and did I was doing technology work all along the way. My background's physics and engineering, and I had the day job. That was also another thing. Did I really go 100%, go all in on those other endeavors? No, not really. And so when you have a backup, it's easy to stick with the backup. Was I passionate about that work? I mean, it was interesting, and I was good at it. I wouldn't say that I necessarily had a passion for it. I felt like it was something that I should do. Pragmatism. Now we're back onto that pragmatism part instead of passion. Something that I should do. It was safe. It was secure. I'd go to work for a big company and I'd get a nice paycheck every couple of weeks, and I would have that sense of stability in my life. So these two aspects of me were going in parallel. Now, doing both of those kind of full time, I was sleeping like 4 hours a night and all that kind of stuff. It really wasn't sustainable. So there's that too, right? Maybe had I done one side versus the other and dropped everything else, I would have accelerated in either one a lot faster. Not that I did poorly in the tech side. I've been on this journey. So the older I get, every time I go into a new endeavor, I start looking at how does this grow? How does this go from this novice to semi-professional to like, how can I really get ahead? How can I create financial freedom? How can I create something that takes off in an exponential way? In having the physics background, I understood that math, but somehow I was not able to apply it early on to my personal life, where emotions were involved. Somehow the logic and the emotions did not quite match up early on. Been through a lot of therapy, so that's helped. And a lot of self-help books and personal development, and the list goes on and on and on. But now I'm at that point in my life where I'm finding ways to take all of that art that I did and take the technology and look at things in a pragmatic way and find out, okay, where can they all align? Now, I'm sorry that my video just clipped out. Let's see if I can get that to come back in. No. So all you're going to do is hear the audio from me now, and that's a little bit frustrating. So let me just try one thing here while I've got you. got you just listening in the darkness. I seem to be having these technical difficulties. That's so frustrating. And there we go. Okay, the video's back. So, like I said, I'm now at this point where I'm actually finally figuring out here later in life how to take some of that pragmatism and to take a lot of that passion and be able to somehow sandwich them together in a way where I'm not judging necessarily the work as much. Proof in point, here I am doing this off the cuff. I have no plan about what how today's topic was going to go, and I'm just putting myself out there. And this is a new realm for me. Like I said, lots of planning, lots of practice before, and here I am trying to short circuit the old grooves or the old ruts in the way of being, and trying to find shortcuts to creating new habits that really serve me better and allow me to gain that momentum in life and really make something blossom in an arena that I have a passion. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I know I talked a lot about me, but hopefully there's something within what I shared that you would be able to apply to your own life, and maybe do a little bit of exploration, start talking to friends, ask them questions about, what they think you're great at versus what you think you're great at. There's a little vulnerability in that, surely, and you don't necessarily have to take what they say as gospel, but it's interesting when you start doing this self-exploration, but also engaging with other people around it, how it can shake the tree loose and things can fall out, and you can actually start seeing things that before were hidden, and really be able to have the life that you've always dreamed of having, and start actually making that a reality. So that's it. It's super short today. I'm really happy for whoever watches this, whether it's streaming right now or sometime in the future. This is going to be up on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and a whole bunch of platforms. So I will just keep continuing my process, and hopefully giving you all information as artists to be able to take that with you and really accelerate your careers and have a huge impact and create a phenomenal future for you and for your fans. Until next time, adios from Texas.